CryptoDisks. Encryption on the fly is encryption of user files performed real time. It is usually transparent and typically is carried out by the creation of virtual encrypted logical disks. Transparency means that secure encryption software is provided and it must be integrated into the system and provided for the user and other software the opportunity to continue working without changes, when some or all of the files are inaccessible, if such media storage will fall into the wrong hands. Working layout of CS includes 1. Creation of a new encrypted volume, the choice of storage location, the choice of crypto provider and ID of access. 2. Connection of encrypted volumes, mounting. All volumes are added to the encryption library on the left side of the interface. Connecting the volume makes it accessible as a new logical drive, which then can operate as all other disks. Transparent function of CS guarantees to the user habitual activity of the disk, while protecting the stored information on it. 3. The detachment of the encrypted volume, dismounting. It is performed at the user's request after work is finished with the volume or automatically during lockup or when the user restarts the computer. Steps 2 and 3 are always repeated each time. The CS does not allow eliminating or reducing some of these steps, because it inevitably negates the protection. While the volume is not connected, the data of encrypted volume is not available for reading or modification. Even if the storage device falls into the wrong hands, without the personal ID, which is encrypted, the volume cannot be connected and it represents a set of meaningless bytes. The great disadvantage of this system is that files larger than 10, 20, 50 gigabytes on the disk leave some signs that these files are crypto containers. Therefore, the main principle of protection, to hide the fact of protection, is radically disrupted. In practice, nobody will break such disks, because it is easier to get a password or the key file from the user. There are many methods for this. In CS, such files are masked, which significantly complicates the procedure for obtaining access to the data. Also, a huge drawback is that when mounting the disk, all the data is encrypted, not only that which is used. For example, a user needs one file of MS Word to work with, and the crypto disk contains 10,000 files. The user mounts a disk with all 10,000 files, and in running of 9,999 is not needed. This is not about speed, but as you can see from the chapter, Methods of Data Theft, is extremely dangerous to keep all data decrypted during an entire working day. This is absolute nonsense. Another drawback is the ability to connect to any logical drive on the network. Even if it is not installed with total access to a disk, there are many ways to connect any drive, if the user uses the computer in a networked environment. When the user works on a terminal server, MS-RDP, all disks are visible to all users. In our opinion, a good use for crypto disks is placing on them a database for common use. For example, in a network there is a selected PC on which the crypto disk and database will be installed, to which multiple users will connect. The disk is mounted and it is public, and there is a set password to use the resource. In other cases, we would not recommend using the crypto disks. In CS, it is much more convenient to set on the files and folders tags with FOU, secret and so on. The data is always available in the Explorer of CS. It is hidden from the eyes of outsiders, and at distinct moment in time only the files that the user is working which are decrypted. The files are not visible when using a remote connection, Radmin, VNC or TeamViewer. They are not visible when the user tries to access a disk throughout the network and so on. Even if somehow the enemy gets access to the files and finds them, they are always encrypted, except for 2 to 3 files that are currently being used, but they are still locked from copying. We use crypto disks in CS only as a tribute to fashion, because many users are accustomed to work with them. Creating. On this form, user must select a storage location for the crypto disk. A good choice will be a previously hidden folder on the disk. Then the certificate is ascertained, which will be used for encryption of the session key. The size of disk and crypto provider is then chosen. The disk is encrypted by the generated session key in the length of 256 bits for AES and GOST algorithms. A session key is encrypted with a public key of certificate with length from 1024 to 4098 bits. Such a system is guaranteed to be reliable for any kind of enemy in 2011, from the amateurs to special services. The advantage of this system, compared with a password system in all other software types, is that the length of the session key is a maximum of 256 bits, or 32 characters. Try to remember a password up to 32 characters. Usually the users set weak passwords, 6 to 8 characters, which can be broken. Another advantage is that these keys do not need to be memorized. Creating a disk requires a few words. There are two methods of creating a crypto container. The first creates the file and then connects it as a logical disk and formats it. The procedure takes a few seconds. For example, PGP functions in this manner. The second method involves the creation of file and encryption of it, and only then it formats and connects it. This procedure takes 10 times longer than the first, however it is considered more reliable, TrueCrypt. The CS has based its work on the second method. The table below shows some comparative characteristics of working with CryptoDisks. Measurements were taken on Vista OS, 4 MB RAM, 4 processor Extreme X9650 file, MKV 766 MB. Thus, it is those programs that use encryption technology of CryptoDisk at the beginning work much faster with the data. Therefore, it is better to wait the extra 2 to 3 minutes while creating a disk to gain better protection and speed in following work. Mounting. Once it is created, the disk will appear in a library of drives. Clicking on the Mount icon and then selecting the proper letter, and the disk will be connected as a logical disk and will be accessible to any activities in the Windows operational system. After connection, the link icon appears on the left form of the disk. The remaining functions of CryptoDisks, unmount, open the file of CryptoDisk, unmount or delete, in our opinion do not require special explanations. Auto-mount. When the user runs the CS, the selected disk will be connected to the letter which the user selected and check the box Automate at startup. It's very convenient when there is constant need for permanent letter, database, software with no license and so on.